The final creature in Jurassic World Evolution's 3 Wetland Pack has been revealed, and it's Hypsilophodon. I'm gonna get my thoughts on the design out of the way really quick. I actually quite like it a decent bit, and I'd place it in low B tier, but the actual design of the Hypsilophodon isn't the issue that most people have with it, and while it could be better, it's decent in its current state. Mine and many other people's issues with the Hypsilophodon is its weird inclusion in the Wetlands pack, as there are many other creatures that could have been chosen over Hypsilophodon, and this video is just gonna be more of a rant on my thoughts about Hypsilophodon. But before this video starts, please consider liking and subscribing if you would like to see more Regalius content, and I will lock in. But back to the video. Hypsilophodon lived in the early Cretaceous of England in the Wessex Formation, which is the same place as Baryonyx, and the formation was a semi-arid floodplain, so Hypsilophodon didn't live in a proper swamp, but that's not really the reason why I'm disappointed about its inclusion. There are plenty of reasons I'm upset about the inclusion of Hypsilophodon, with the first being the lack of any aquatic adaptations. Hypsilophodon did live in a floodplain which was wet for a large portion of the year, but that doesn't justify its addition to the Wetland Pack in Jurassic World Evolution 3. It has the same vibe of me putting Zafactinus in an Australia pack. Sure, it lived there, but Zafactinus had a global distribution and wasn't tied to one region. The same applies to Hypsilophodon. It lived in a place that was wet for part of the year, but that doesn't mean much. There are so many prehistoric ecosystems that were dominated by floodplains, such as the Morrison Formation. Would Frontier putting a Torvosaurus in the Wetlands pack make much sense? No, obviously it wouldn't, and I don't get how some people are justifying Hypsilophodon's inclusion just because it lived in a wet environment. The next reason on why Hypsilophodon upsets me is that there are so many other cool and unique wetland animals that could have made the cut, and rather than talking about it in a broad context, I'm just gonna speak off a list. Oxalea, Ichthyovenator, Deinosuchus, Porosaurus, Sarcosuchus, Caprasuchus, Coolosuchus, Beelzebufo, Brianosuchus, Lurdusaurus, Aclarinus, Pelicamimus, Pterodostro, and maybe Cotylarhynchus. The point is that there are so many other creatures that would have fit a wetland pack better than Hypsilophodon, with all of these creatures getting discussed by the community more than Hypsilophodon. When was the last time you heard someone say they want Hypsilophodon in Jurassic World Evolution 3 outside of the context of novel canon? And this brings me to my next point. According to Evolution Square, Frontier stated that one of the main reasons Hypsilophodon was added to the game was because of its appearance in the novel. It's not even like it had a major role in the book. Hypsilophodon was seen on the tour, and that's pretty much it. When people discuss what they want from the Jurassic Park novel, it is almost always the big Dilophosaurus, which is never happening, Hadrosaurus, and Mosasaurus, with the vast majority of people who want Hypsilophodon are only interested in it for completing the canon. Adding this creature because of canon is a poor and lazy excuse in my opinion, especially since it doesn't fit the Wetlands pack. I really believe the novel shouldn't have that much influence on what gets added to these games, as we don't even know what the creatures in the novel look like, as while they are described, there are no official designs for these animals. The final point I'd like to make is that while Hypsilophodon is a decent design, it could have been so much better. It really just looks like a little Dryosaurus, and I personally believe a coat of feathers would have made it far more interesting. I've seen a lot of people state that they like the design because it's not feathered and akin to the designs in the original Jurassic Park, but I personally think that takes away from the design, as without feathers or any defining traits, the Hypsilophodon really just looks like a smaller Dryosaurus, and there isn't much to distinguish them apart from size. And on top of that, they share animations with each other. And in addition to that, Hypsilophodon shares a lot of sounds with the Homalocephalae, but even if Hypsilophodon was more visually distinct, it still would have been a poor choice for the Wetlands pack. I've discussed my feelings on Hypsilophodon, and while I think the creature itself is decent, its inclusion in the Wetlands pack is extremely disappointing to me and many other members of the community. There are so many better options for creatures, and on top of that, Hypsilophodon could have had a better design. I genuinely hope Frontier listens to the community and avoids a pick like Hypsilophodon again, where an animal doesn't fit the pack it was placed in. I don't hate the idea of Hypsilophodon coming to Jurassic World Evolution 3, but it was a poor addition for the Wetlands pack. Now, the reveal of Hypsilophodon was made even worse by it being the last creature to be revealed, and they dragged the reveal of the wetland species across multiple days. While this promotional style isn't a bad thing, it certainly gets people more emotionally invested in the reveals for better or worse, and for Hypsilophodon, it was for the worse. The disappointment from the community wouldn't have been as bad if it wasn't the last creature, but I don't believe that was the case originally. I personally believe that Dinokairos was part of this pack and was only added to the free update after backlash from the community. And if Dinokairos was the last creature, then the Jurassic World Evolution community would have been even more upset than they are now about the Hypsilophodon. But if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing as it boosts me out in the algorithm, and I'd really like to hit 10,000 subscribers in the near future. I also have a channel membership that costs $4.99 with perks such as early access to certain videos, like my next one, which will be about my main issues with prehistoric planets, so stay tuned to that. I also have a Discord server, so consider joining that, but I don't have much else to say. Bye bye y'all, have a nice day.